I talked to my husband and he taught me things. Men are here to teach us, to lead us, to teach us. I think my husband is one of the smartest men ever. He's taught me so many things. So that's one of his roles.
No, I hear you. Actually, that's one of the reasons I was attracted to my husband, because he's one of the smartest guys I think I've ever met. I'm in a constant history class, whether or not I want.
That's what I mean.
I'm like, okay,
whether or not I am ready to learn, I'm going to learn.
That's what I mean. Men can teach us so much.
Yeah.
But it's like they teach us so much. That's just about the end of it. But that comes with that has to be some kind of either source of teaching and instructing or conversation. But again, like you said, women have to be willing to learn, and that's what I'm speaking to. I'm not talking about women that don't want to learn.
No, I hear you.
All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled, How Beautiful is a Mind Well Instructed? Wives, learn from your husbands. Okay. So, of course, this video is inspired by the video we just watched, which I came across on Instagram from the brother's page. I believe it's Alpha Sincere, and he uploaded that video, I believe, a couple of days ago, right? But yeah, that's what inspired me to actually do this video. I'm watching that clip, seeing the level of admiration and reverence that these women have for their husbands by way of the wisdom and knowledge that their husbands have and gave to them. That was a beautiful thing to watch. Okay, it's very commendable. Okay, so that's what really inspired me to actually do this video. And there's a few things I want to point out that was said in that clip. First of all, they pretty much were saying that their husbands are the most, the wisest and smartest men that they know. Okay, and that's the way it should be. Okay, the husbands, you should have something to teach your wives. Okay, and first and foremost, okay, it should be the scriptures. That's the main thing you should be teaching her. And in turn, you should be teaching her about life in general. Okay, how to maneuver, in this life that we're living, right? But that's why I believe the lady in the middle, she said there has to be some source of learning, pretty much coming from the husband. But then she ended by saying that pretty much that cannot happen unless the wife is willing to learn. And that's a big point as well. Okay, actually, let's watch the clip one more time. That thing was beautiful. So we're going to watch the clip one more time, and then we're actually going to get into a few verses to actually substantiate what the three women were talking about. Okay, let's look at the clip one more time.
I talked to my husband and he taught me things. Men are here to teach us, to lead us, to teach us. I think my husband is one of the smartest men ever. He's taught me so many things. So that's one of his roles.
No, I hear you. Actually, that's one of the reasons I was attracted to my husband, because he's one of the smartest guys I think I've ever met. I'm in a constant history class, whether or not I want.
That's what I mean.
I'm like, okay,
whether or not I am ready to learn, I'm going to learn.
That's what I mean. Men can teach us so much.
Yeah.
But, it's like they teach us so much. That's just about the end of it. But that comes with that has to be some kind of either source of teaching and instructing or conversation. But again, like you said, women have to be willing to learn. And that's what I'm speaking to. I'm not talking about women that don't want to learn.
No, I hear you.
Okay. That was a very, very beautiful sight to see how, those women are speaking of their husbands. Very beautiful sight. That was wonderful. Okay. But now that we actually watched that again, let's actually get into the scriptures and let's build off of what that particular clip was about. Okay. So we're going to start off, and this is going to be Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse 14. And it reads, it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. Now watch closely. And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay, so again, looking at the end of this verse, it says, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed, right? So a woman that has a mind well instructed, meaning she's teachable, that is something that's very, very valuable. Okay, a woman that has a mind that's well instructed. Now, who is she being instructed from? Okay, it's supposed to be her husband. All right, if you have a woman that's willing to, and ready and wants to learn from you, brother, that's a gift from the Most High. Okay, that's very, very valuable. All right. And so this particular verse, or the end of this verse, is really the inspiration for the title of this video. Okay, because this is going right into the clip that we just watched. Okay, you could tell those women, they have a mind well instructed. Okay, one of the biggest things that attracted them to their husbands was the wisdom that came from them. Okay, and the wisdom that they in turn imparted to their wives. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. So now from here, let's get a little bit of information about the Proverbs 31 woman. Okay, the woman that most Israelite women should be, or not most, all all Israelite women should be inspiring or aspiring to be. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 26. And it reads, it says, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Now, how did the verse open up? It says she openeth her mouth with wisdom. Okay, so this is one of the attributes of the Proverbs 31 woman, the virtuous woman. Okay, it says she openeth her mouth with wisdom. Now, where did this wisdom come from? Okay, what did we just read in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 26th chapter? It told us that there's nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay, so this wisdom is coming from her husband. Okay, this is a woman that's teachable. Okay, this is a woman that's willing to learn. Okay, and look at how the verse ended. It says, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Now, in order for the law of kindness to be in her tongue, that takes wisdom. Okay, in order to, be able to, govern the words that you speak, that takes wisdom and it takes discipline. Okay, case in point. Let's say a husband and a wife gets into an argument. Okay, things happen, right? Now, a wise woman, of course, she's the law of kindness is in her tongue, right? Now, using wisdom, she knows, according to Proverbs 15:1, I believe it is, that a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Okay, so this is why, again, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay, so if you have this woman that has this wisdom, she'll know how to deal with you within an argument or a disagreement. Okay, and this is a big problem with a lot of Israelite women. Okay, they can be very harsh as far as their words go, borderline abusive. Okay, but here again, giving you another example, when you look at the scriptures, when you look at Ecclesiastes, I believe chapter 10 and verse 4, it tells us what? That if the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee, leave not thy place. right? Because in pacifying, it can in doing so, it can pacify offense, roughly paraphrasing, right? So knowing that, if she actually has that wisdom, she knows that the husband is the ruler of the home, right? So, just because, his spirit may be rising up against you, maybe it's something he's angry with you about, that doesn't give you a pass to leave your place. Now, I know a lot of sisters are probably saying, are you telling a woman to stay in her place? Well, yeah, that's what the scriptures are saying. Okay, it's not nothing to be offended by. Okay, there has to be order in the house. Okay, but by you not bucking up against him, and applying wisdom and staying in your place, that can calm him down. Okay, I don't think women understand, the level of power that they have if they just deal with wisdom, okay, and deal in their femininity. Okay, but I say all that to say this. Okay, that's why you have to have a woman who's willing to be instructed. Okay, and you as a brother, you need to teach her these things so she'll know how to deal when situations like this occur. You need to tell her how to deal with how to hold her tongue, how to deal wisely in different situations. Okay, that's what I'm saying, right? So it's important for you as a brother to actually know the scriptures so you can impart this wisdom and understanding to her. Okay? And to you sisters. That's why it's very important for you to choose your suitor wisely, to make sure he's a man of wisdom and understanding, so he'll be able to teach you. Okay? Because if a man has nothing to teach you, if you can't learn from that individual, that's not a good situation. That's one of the most important things that a man can do for you, is actually teach you, right? Society places so much emphasis on, protecting and providing, and those things are very, very important. But we don't put enough emphasis on the husband teaching his wife. Now, actually, a husband teaching his wife is actually a form of protection. Why? Because protection is not always physical. Okay, you got to understand something. The main people that's, off into these Luciferian bugged out doctrines, it's usually females, okay? Because women are more vulnerable to be deceived spiritually. Okay, just simply go back to Eve. And that's why it's very important for men to teach their wives, or for women to pick a man that can teach them. Okay, so he can protect you not only physically, but spiritually from a lot of these different doctrines that's trying to sway you as a woman. All right. So with that, let's actually move forward to the book of Ecclesiasticus. And we're going to go to chapter 7 and verse 25. And it reads, it says, marry thy daughter. So this is an instruction to fathers. Okay, so it says, marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. So this is a very serious matter. That's what it means by weighty. Okay, and not to get too far off track, but we're living in a society where marriage is not viewed as a weighty matter. It's not viewed as one of the ultimate goals in life, and it should be, because it is very important. Okay, it's treated as something that, if it happens, good. If not, oh well. Okay, but that's not the right attitude. Especially if you're a woman. Okay, marriage is a very weighty matter, and who you choose, or who's chosen for you as a suitor, is a very weighty matter. Now notice it talks about the father marrying off his daughter, okay? Because in ancient times there was a lot of arranged marriages, in which I believe is the best way. But that's just me, because just looking at sisters today and them choosing their own suitors is how well is that going in society? But not to get too far off track, but yeah, marriage is a very weighty matter, okay? But now look at the end of the verse. Now here's the point. It says, but give her to a man of understanding. Allow me to repeat that last part. It says, but give her to a man of understanding. So this is an instruction to fathers to give their daughter to a man of understanding. Why? Because the husband is supposed to be teaching the wife. That's the point. Okay, remember, we just read about the Proverbs 31 woman. It says she openeth her mouth with wisdom. Why? How can she do that? Because obviously she was given to a man of understanding. That's the dynamic. And this is the dynamic that's been lost. Okay, amongst our people, amongst so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You choose a spouse based on some of the most silliest and carnal things. Okay, and that's why a lot of marriages, or most of them, are failing within our community. Okay, but I say all that to say this, back to the point. Okay, a woman is supposed to be given to a man of understanding. Okay, so from here, let's move forward and let's go back to the book of Proverbs. And this is going to be chapter 12 and verse 8. And it reads, it says, a man shall be commended according to his wisdom, but he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. Now, how did the verse start off? It said, a man shall be commended according to his wisdom, right? Now, going back to the clip we watched of the three ladies, we saw that. We saw how they commended their husbands according to their wisdom. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. Okay, the scriptures reign true. These men were commended by their wives according to their wisdom. Okay, and that's one of the main things you brothers should be looking for. Okay, you should want a woman, that wants you for your wisdom. Okay, and me speaking as a man, okay, one of the most attractive things that you can find in a woman is a woman that wants to learn from you, that's ready and willing to learn from you. Somebody that you can teach new things and show new things to. That is a very attractive thing, okay, to find in a woman, okay, that you can do that for, right? And, that's why I said it was a beautiful thing to watch these sisters commend their husbands because of the wisdom that the husbands was giving them. Okay? But here again, in order for that to happen, you brothers have to have something to actually teach these women. Okay? You have to have something to teach your wives. And it's supposed to be chiefly the scriptures. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look at this. So this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 25. And it reads, it says, husbands, love your wives. I done jumped the gun, but it's okay. It says, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Now, I already highlighted my point in this particular verse. It says, even as Christ loved the church. This is how husbands are supposed to love their wives, right? Now, we already know the ultimate way that Yahushua loved the church. It was him giving himself for it, meaning he gave his life for us, the children of Israel. We are the church, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So that was his ultimate show of love, okay? But it wasn't the only way he showed love towards us. What is one of the other main ways that Yahushua showed love towards us? He taught us. Okay, it was the teaching. Okay, now in the world, the main things that's really stressed about Yahushua is the miracles. Okay, and those things are very, very important. But it's really not enough emphasis placed on the teachings of Yahushua, because he did a whole lot of teaching. He taught us, and that's one of the ways he showed love for us. Us, metaphorically, being his bride, which is the church, right? The 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. So likewise, okay, this is the same way that husbands are supposed to love our wives. Okay. Now, of course, chiefly, we should be willing to give our lives for our wives. Okay. Willing to die for them. Right. But one of the other ways we show love towards our wives is the same thing that Yahushua did, which is the teaching. Okay, the teaching of the word. Okay, and to prove that, let's go to the next verse, verse 26, and it reads, it says that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Okay, that word being the word of God. Okay. The word is likened unto water. Okay. And that's what cleanses us. And this is what we're supposed to be doing for our wives. Okay. The same way Yahushua did for us, collectively, as a nation. Right. So that's the point. So one of the ways that a husband loves his wife is to teach them. And that's why I said you have to have something to teach them in order for this to play out. Okay. And chiefly, it's supposed to be the word, as we see here, the washing of water by the word. Okay. Now, let's get into the last point that the lady in the middle made in that clip. She said, but the wife has to be willing to learn. Did she not? She said, I'm not talking about the women that's not willing to learn. Okay, roughly paraphrasing what she said. So you as a brother, you can have all the wisdom in the world, okay, to be ready to impart to your wife. But if she's not ready and willing to learn, that's a problem. Okay, because it takes a certain type of spirit to be willing to learn. And it also takes a certain type of spirit to not be willing to learn. Now, allow me to explain. Let's go to the book of Isaiah and let's take a look at something here. So we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 16. And it reads, it says, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Now, I want to take a close look at the beginning of the verse. It says, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. And that word right there, haughty, is what I want to harp in on. Okay, and this is a big problem with a lot of Israelite women. Okay, not all of them. Okay, especially you sisters that's in the faith. You're trying. Okay, I'm not really speaking to you. Okay, but in general, okay, this is a problem for so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American women. Okay, so let's look at this word haughty. Let's go to the dictionary and let's look at this word haughty. Let's get the definition here. Okay, because I'm building a point. So moving along, going to the dictionary, and this is the definition for haughty. Okay, and it reads, it says blatantly and disdainfully proud. Let's pause right there. Okay. Now, remember earlier I said that it takes a certain type of spirit to not be willing to learn. Here you go. Haughty. And one of the definitions of haughty is blatantly and disdainfully proud. Okay, a person that's not willing to learn, that's a very prideful person. Okay, that person is not willing to learn because pride is in the way. Okay, and I hate to be like this, but this is the reality that we're in. You know, a lot of sisters, they have this attitude, especially towards Israelite men, that, you know, you can't tell me nothing. Okay, you can insert the neck roll and the eye rolls. But they have this attitude of you can't tell me nothing because they're chock full of pride. Okay, very proud. That's where that comes from. Okay, and in part they are a product of their environment as well, because we live in an environment where men are portrayed a certain way. They're not portrayed as a pillar of wisdom. Okay, when you simply look at society today, you look in the media, you know, how are men portrayed? They're portrayed as, what's the dude's name? Homer Simpson. You know, bumbling, fumbling, buffoonish fools. So how can women, you know, look to any man as a pillar of wisdom when, you know, subconsciously they're being showed that this is how men are. Okay, they're idiots. But see, that's on purpose. Okay, but I said all that to say this. Okay, they look at men, especially the Israelite man, as if, you know, you can't tell me nothing. Okay, it's a pride thing, right? So moving forward with the definition, it says having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceived to be inferior. Okay? And you cannot tell me that this ain't on point. Okay? Because the woman in this society is taught that they are superior to men and men are inferior. So, having said that, if women have this mind frame of, you know, that men are inferior to them, you go, how are they going to look to them for wisdom? Okay, but this is the haughty attitude that's within a lot of Israelite women. Okay, that's why I said it's a certain type of spirit that is not willing to learn, and it's a haughty spirit. Okay, very prideful. Okay, so now let's look at the opposite of that, though. It takes a certain type of spirit to actually be willing to learn. Now let's get some understanding on that. Let's move forward. So this is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and we're going to start at verse 1. And it reads, it says, at the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Okay, so this is a question that the disciples is asking Yahushua. Now this is verse 2, and it reads, and Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Okay, so now Yahushua is about to use this little child as an example to teach the disciples. Okay, let's move forward to the next verse. So moving forward, this is verse 3, and it reads, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now let's pause here. Now we see the importance of taking certain attributes or a certain attribute from children as adults. Okay, now let's examine children. Children are like sponges. They're ready and willing to learn. Okay, that's one of the things that we can learn from children. Okay, and also, not to get too far off topic, but children a lot of times have unshakable faith as well. Okay, but I don't want to get too far off topic, but the attribute here that we take from children is what? Humility. Okay, that's why I said children are like sponges. They want to soak in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding every chance that they get. Okay, but that's why I said it takes a certain type of spirit to be willing to learn, and that spirit is humility. It takes a humble individual to be willing to learn from someone else. Now apply that to marriage. It takes a humble woman, a woman of a humble spirit, to be willing to learn from her husband. Okay, now how do we know that this is going into humility? Let's look at the next verse, verse 4. And it reads, it says, whosoever therefore shall humble himself, see that, as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so again, to be willing to learn. Okay, because this is what Yahushua is going into, being converted and becoming as little children. You have to be willing to learn. That's what it really that's what being born again is really going into. Okay, you have to relearn everything that you were taught. Okay, as far as the scriptures go. Yeah, and in order to do that, it takes a humble spirit. You have to become as a child. Again, you're born again. You start off as a baby and you grow in the spirit. Okay? But again, it takes a humble spirit to do that, to be willing to learn. And you can apply this to marriage. That's why I went here. It takes a humble spirit to be willing to learn. And that's what, women have to have, dealing with their husband. That's why in that clip, the lady ended by saying, I'm not speaking to women that's not willing to learn. And she said, we as wives, we have to be willing to learn from our husbands. Okay, and that's the point. He can have all the wisdom in the world, but if you're not willing to learn, then how valuable is that, wisdom going to be to you? All right. But anyway, I believe this is actually a good place to end the video. And of course, the title of the video is How Beautiful is a Mind Well Instructed. Wives, learn from your husbands. Okay. And of course, this video was inspired by the clip that I ran into from Instagram, from the brother Alpha Sincere's Instagram page. Okay, shout out to that brother, right? So, again, like I said earlier, one of the most important and valuable things that a husband can do for his wife is teach her, to impart wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to her, chiefly from the scriptures, so she'll, be able to better maneuver within the marriage and within life in general. Okay, because again, it's also a source of protection when you teach her, because protection, like I said earlier, is not always physical. Okay, we have to protect our wives from all these different doctrines that's out there, because again, the woman is more spiritually vulnerable than we are. Again, just simply go back to the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, right? So with that, and in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father. And I do so in the name of Yahweh Shai, which is the name of our Lord, our King, and our Savior, which is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father. Okay? And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.